Hey everyone! Okay, so I'm back with probably an overdue Shop My Stash, most likely. I'm not exactly sure when I posted my last one. So I'm going to be going through some of the products that I chose from the last Shop My Stash. And then we'll go through, you know, and shop my stash again for the next couple of weeks. I did start my project pans for the new year, obviously. If you've been keeping up with my channel, probably seen all the intros. So because I'm kind of coming up towards like my first like round of updates and everything for my projects, I'm going to be mostly focusing on my project pan items. So I'm not going to pull too much into this shop my stash. So hopefully this won't be terribly long. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this shop my stash. I'm gonna start with the drawer that sits in a different, it's actually a different set of acrylics that sits on my vanity. Mostly I just have eyebrow products, primers, things like that in here. So I don't have a ton of things that I wanna pull out here. I picked a couple of like colored liners, you know, just like any like just non-black eyeliners, and I didn't get a chance to play around with them as much as I wanted to, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave those in. I have these 3 eyebrow pencils, or not pencils, sorry, pens. I have the Glossier Brow Flick, the new NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, and then the Milani Weekend Brow. So yeah, these brow pens, so far, I mean, I've obviously been using the Glossier one for quite some time. I really do like that one. And then the Milani one I think is okay. I think it's the NYX one that I'm not sure about. So I'm going to be keeping these in for another round just because I want to continue to test those out. And then I have the Hourglass Arch Brow Micro Sculpting Pencil. So I went ahead and pulled this out of my kind of like stash of new makeup and whatnot because I finished off the brow pencil that I was working on before this. I think it was an old NYX one. And I just remembered that I had bought this a while ago and decided like, hey, it's time to actually try and use it. So I don't know if you guys will really be able to tell, but it's like got sort of a weird tip to it. It's like almost oval, or like, I don't know, I don't really know how to describe it. It's not the triangle shape that some of the like brow definers have, and it's not like the, you know, normal shape of like a micro brow pencil, kind of like ABH. And I have the shade Soft Brunette, and I think it's okay. I don't know if I would repurchase it. I think it might not be really worth the price tag, but it's all right. And then I played around with this a little bit. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in the shade Eden, and this I've heard is like a dupe for the MAC paint pots. I bought this a while ago and never tested it out, and I do like it. I don't know how much of a dupe it really is because it's definitely a different consistency than the MAC paint pot, but I'm still enjoying it, so I probably won't use it too much because I do have a primer that I'm working on in one of my project pans. So yeah, I think that's it for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to a different set of products. I've got all of the eyeshadow palettes that I had pulled last time, and because I started my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, I really didn't reach for these a whole lot. So these 2 Makeup by Mario palettes, still have yet to actually reach for those. I did reach for the Making Mauves palette from ColourPop, and I got a lot of questions when I wore this in a video. Everyone was asking, well, not everyone, but like a couple people asked me what I was wearing on my eyes, and it was this palette. I think this is stunning. It's probably, I don't want to say it's like one of my favorites from ColourPop, but I think it might be. Like, I don't know, this row right here is really, really nice, and I think the mattes are pretty nice as well. So I enjoy this palette quite a bit. I'm going to put this one back, but I think I'll be keeping these 2 just because I just really, I don't know, I feel like I should be able to find a way to use these with my Pan Those eyeshadows, so I'm gonna keep those. I did reach for this again. I was filming a look for a 3 looks 1 palette video. I'm not sure that I loved how it came out though, and I don't think I filmed it very well, so and I still need to do a couple more looks, so I'm still going to be playing around with this, but I think for now I'm just going to put it back, and if I have time to do that video or like work on that video, I will pull this back in, but for now I'm going to go ahead and let it go live in one of my palette drawers. And then this I just kind of put in here, so if you watch my Pan Those, or if you watch my project pans, you know that I'm working on the Noir Lorac Pro palette in 2 different project pans. This one is the warm toned version, so this is the Soleil palette, and I just put it in here so I wouldn't forget to reach for it because I'm not going to be pulling in any new palettes to work on with my Pandos eyeshadows except for this one. Because I do want to test out the formula and just make sure that it's like comparable to the cool toned version because I'm really liking that one. So this one's going to stay. Then we have the Tiny Marvels palette. This is the Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson collab. I will be putting this back. It's been in for I think 2 Shop My Stashes. It's been in here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back. This is the Colored Rain Juicy Boost palette, and I was unable to reach for this unfortunately, so I'm going to keep this one in as well, but I'm not, again, like I mentioned, I'm not going to be pulling in any new ones, and even if I can just do one look with this, I will be putting it back next time. I just want to reach for it like at least once. So I'm not going to touch on every single one just because there are quite a few here and some of them have been part of my Shop My Stash before, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. I'm going to start off with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I've only used this a handful of times, but so far I am really liking it. I do feel like it sets down my makeup really nicely, and overall I would say that I do like it. The one thing that I think would prevent me from purchasing this again is the fragrance. It's just way too much, just over the top fragrance on this product. It's not exactly like an appealing scent either. I find that with all of the Charlotte Tilbury products that are scented, I just am not a fan of the scent whatsoever, and I also just feel like it's just so unnecessary. It's my fault for like not doing better research before buying this. I kind of just did it on an impulse. But yeah, I mean, other than that though, I think the formula is really nice, so I think I can kind of deal with the fragrance, and since it's not skincare, I think my skin will be able to tolerate the fragrance in it. So I'm just kind of trying to rotate through my setting sprays right now, so I'm going to definitely come back to this, but I just kind of want to get a good overview of the products that I have and just really get to know the ones that I haven't really reached for yet. So I'm gonna put this back. So next up I have the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Glow Setting Spray, and this one I think has been in for a couple of rotations, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it out, but I am also really enjoying this, and it doesn't have an icky scent to it. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's 0 scent to it, but I don't think it's like scented the way that the Charlotte Tilbury one is, but I do think it gives a nice glow, and so far I do think it sets down my makeup pretty well. I love the original All Nighter setting spray, and I think it works really well for me, so I haven't really put this one to the test necessarily, but I do think I really like it. And I will say, I forgot to mention this, with the Charlotte Tilbury one, use that to set down my makeup, and then later in the day, so after my makeup had already been on for a bit, I went over to my parents' house and we took our dogs for a walk, and I usually get kind of like sweaty during walks and stuff, and I just remember getting back to their house, looking in the mirror and stuff, and just expecting my makeup to have completely melted off my face, but it was still pretty much looking like I had just applied it. So I'm really liking the Charlotte Tilbury one in that regard because I do think it really works. This one I haven't really like put to the test, but I don't feel that it would let me down because it is like, just a glowy version of the All Nighter setting spray. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back. Okay, and then I have the 2 All Nighter primers. Let me preface this with, I only use these both a couple of times each, but I feel like they're very similar, and I don't feel that they necessarily do all of that much for my skin. It's like weird. I feel like when I put them on, it's like almost like I didn't really put anything on. So that could be like a good thing, I suppose, but also not. So I do need to play around with these more. I don't really know what my thoughts are on these. Like, I don't really want to recommend them or like not recommend them right now. Like, I'm just not really sure, but I do have some Project Pan items, Project Pan primers, and I really want to make some good, decent progress on those. So I am going to be pulling these 2 out for now, but I'm definitely going to have to come back to these and test them out more thoroughly because I'm just these confuse me, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know what I think. So if you've tried these, definitely let me know what your thoughts are. So I didn't reach for this guy yet, so I'm gonna keep that in the rotation. And then I did used this, I want to say maybe a couple times. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave this in. I'm trying to think. I don't have a tinted moisturizer in a project pan, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave this in and continue to kind of test it out. So far I am really liking this, and I think it looks nice, so I'm going to continue to test this out. I did reach for this once. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I currently kind of have to mix in some white foundation with this because it's just a hair too dark, but I am liking this foundation. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it away for now so I can kind of focus on my Project Pan foundation that I'm working on, and then also to make sure I reach for this. And then this is just living here for now. And that pretty much wraps up this tray. Everything else kind of either lives here or, you know, whatever. I'm just kind of keeping it there for now. So next up I have this drawer, which doesn't have a whole lot in here. I'm gonna take all of these out just because I am focusing on my Project Pan items, and I've gotten used out of the Kiko shades, but not this ColourPop Jelly Much shadow, so I'm gonna pop these all out. Sorry, I think I was out of focus. And then I have this Hikari like cream pigments in the shade Mink. This has kind of dried out, like, I don't know, it's still swatched okay, but then when I was trying to apply it to my eyes, it was just kind of a struggle. So I'm gonna look into how to kind of maybe rehydrate this, because I think I can kind of treat it the same as a ColourPop shade. Okay, so I have this drawer right here, and if you watched my last Shop My Stash, you know my system here that I kind of have in place, where as I use things, I start to kind of pile them up in one section, and then they kind of end up moving around. So this section ends up being the ones that I haven't reached for, and you'll notice it's looking a lot similar to how it was last time. Again, I just really haven't been reaching for these because of my Project Pan items, so I need to kind of figure out a better balance there, obviously. So I am going to be taking a couple items out though that I did reach for. So the first one is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So this weirdly is not a good color match for me in terms of like highlighting my face, like under the eye, and kind of just highlighting certain parts of my face. This is the shade Fair Warm, and it's just a little too, I do feel like it's just like a hair warmer than my actual skin tone. I have the Artist Couture lipstick in the shade Saucy Gal, and it's a beautiful, beautiful nude. I did enjoy reaching for this, but I am going to go ahead and bring this back out. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put this away as well. This is the Tower 28. What are these called? The Shine On Lip Jellies. This is in the shade Chill. Can never remember that for some reason. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this back. I have a lip gloss that I'm working on, so I just feel like I'm just going to try to work on that one, so I'm going to pull this one out for now. Okay, and then let's see, I have a couple of mini primers here. So obviously the Milk Hydro Grip primer, and then I have the Smashbox Vitamin Glow. So these are both obviously, well, this one's a sample size and this one's just the mini that you can buy at Sephora. So yeah, I'm going to be putting both of these back. I was kind of unofficially panning like all of my smaller primers, but now that I'm like officially panning two, well actually 3 primers, but 2 of them are smaller and one's a full size, I just feel like I need to take these out so I can focus on the other ones. And I don't know, I think both of these are okay. I think I like this one a little bit more. This one's kind of more my type of primer. This one's all right, but I don't like feel like it's super duper necessary. I don't know, eventually I'll come back to these and probably throw them in some projects this year, but for now I'm gonna take these out of the rotation. That just leaves these products here that I had pulled previously and never got around to using. I'm gonna go ahead and leave them in for now, and we'll reevaluate next time. Hopefully I can get to all of these. So I'm not gonna pull everything out of here because I have quite a few products in here, but I think I reached for the majority of stuff in here. So the first one, I think this is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder, and this is in the shade Light. I purchased this recently. I'm trying to remember exactly when, but I think right when I got it, I started to use it just because I really wanted to test it out for under the eyes. I'm going to leave this in just because, and let's see. Next, I have the Ciate. I don't know what these blushes are called. I I think that they're the Glow 2 Illuminating Blushes, I want to say is the name, but I honestly can't remember. But this is in the shade Date Night. And I love these blushes. I think that they're super duper cute, first of all, and they're just really, really pretty, and they're nice and glowy. So I really enjoyed reaching for this. I kind of want to keep this in for now, but I do have some other blushes that I obviously am panning. How many times am I going to say that in this video? My apologies. But I also have some that I just want to pull from my stash just to get, again, a good rotation going. So I will be pulling this out for now, but I really do like these, and I do have some other colors, so maybe I'll grab another color or something. So I didn't reach for the Dose of Colors highlight that's in here. I did not reach for this blush, so maybe I'll leave those in. I'm gonna leave those in. This one is the Dominique Cosmetics Skin Gloss in the shade Golden Dew, and I did use this. I don't know, this one was okay. It didn't really blow me away. I want to use it some more, but I do have 2 cream highlighters in Project Pans at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and take this out, but I would love to maybe roll this into a Project Pan at some point or something and just get a little bit more consistent use on it and see if I like it a little bit better. I pulled this Kiko Milano blush. This is the Unexpected Paradise 3D blush in the shade Shadow of the Earth. This is a really pretty blush. I do like it. It was fun to pull. I'm gonna put this back for now. I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder. I've really been enjoying this lately. Mine has like a huge dip in it. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it in for now. I've just been enjoying reaching for it, and I think it's a nice powder. I kind of want to put it into a Project Pan. And then next up, if this will focus, I have the Artist Couture. This is one of the Diamond Glow powders, and this is in the shade Gold Digger. And I think in my last Shop My Stash, I was attempting to take the shade Cocoa Bling, and I accidentally put Cocoa Bling back and chose this one instead. And then funnily enough, Cocoa Bling got rolled into a Project Pan. So I'm actually going to be taking this out. I didn't use it, but I'm just going to focus on using Cocoa Bling right now. And then I'll come back to this shade, which again is Gold Digger. I don't know if I said that. Next up, I have the Pixie and Aspen Ovard highlighter. This is in the shade London Luster. Okay, I really, really enjoy this highlighter. Like, it is super duper stunning. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. I did reach for it a couple of times over the last few weeks, and I really enjoy this highlighter. Definitely something I would like to pan at some point for sure. I already have like a little bit of a dip in it, and I just really, really enjoy it. And I don't know if these are still available because they were obviously like a collab, so I don't know if you can still get these, but if you can, I would definitely recommend them. Really, really nice highlighters. All right, next up is the Essence Pure Nude highlighter. I left this one in my last Shop My Stash because I wasn't really sure if I enjoy this product, and I'm gonna come back to it. I didn't get a chance to really play around with this, but I'm gonna come back to it once I'm a little more I don't really know what the word or like phrase I'm looking for, but like kind of more settled into my Project Pans. I'll come back to this and test it out a little bit more, but right now I'm just really not interested in reaching for this at the moment, so I'm going to take this one out as well. And I have 2 bronzers left to talk about in this drawer that I have. Oops, that's upside down. I have the Body Shop bronzer. This is just like that, I don't know, like the honey bronzer. It doesn't have the full name on the back. It just has the shade, which is 01. So obviously like the lightest shade, and I really like this bronzer. I definitely want to pan it at some point, but I have some other bronzers I need to work on first. I really do like this, and I think you guys can kind of see it's like very worn in the middle, which I'm very proud of. I don't know why, I'm just very proud of that. So I'm gonna put this away for now, but I'm hoping to get this into a Project Pan sometime in the next year or so. So next up I have another Kiko product. This is the Flawless, also again upside down, whoops. This is the Flawless Fusion, I think that's what it's called. Yes, Flawless Fusion bronzer, and I have the shade 01. I don't know why it keeps getting super duper dark. Sorry about that. I really hope that's not bugging you guys, but this bronzer is really, really nice. It's very silky, like it's such a smooth powder. It's strange. I really do like it. It is matte, and I don't know, I've definitely been enjoying reaching for it for like the past couple of weeks. I've reached for it a handful of times and really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to put this back for now, but also another bronzer that I am liking quite a bit. This last drawer, I just have a couple of like face cheek type products. So the first one is the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. I've really been enjoying this. I think it's a nice powder, it gives like a nice glow. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back for now because I think I've been reaching for this, I want to say almost exclusively lately. So I need a little bit of a break for it. I need to try something else out, or just reach for some other powders, give some other powders a little bit of love. One of them being this, which is, this is actually a skin finishing powder, so it's like slightly different, but it is a loose powder and I still haven't reached for it despite it being in here. So I don't know if it can focus because of how bright this packaging is, but I'm gonna leave this in here. It is the Miracle Glow Skin Finishing Powder from Flower Beauty. So again, I'm gonna leave that in here. I have an Hourglass palette. I'm gonna leave that in. I haven't reached for it. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow. It's a little sample, so I'm gonna leave that in as well. Again, I didn't remember to reach for that one. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. This is, if it'll focus, this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. I do really like this powder. I think that they're nice to kind of, if you really want to keep a glow but kind of want to slightly set down your makeup a little bit, it's nice to kind of add this over certain areas that don't need to be set down quite as much. So I've been enjoying reaching for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it back because I kind of think that this might be a similar product. I'm not sure. And I also could use, I think, what's in here? I think I could reach for this powder right here instead to do that if I want to. So all right, so now it's time to go shop my stash. All right, so I feel like you can see most of my project pan items. I just kind of laid everything out on my vanity here. These are all of my makeup panning items. Obviously I didn't put in like my skincare or any other products that I might be working on, and I think I have everything. I might be missing like a couple of things, but I started to do this kind of last year a little bit, and didn't really stick with it too much. What I want to do with this my Shop My Stash series is every week what I'd like to do is kind of switch out the project pan items that I'm kind of trying to focus in on. So I won't be showing you guys every single time I'm doing this, just the times that I'm doing this during when I'm filming my Shop My Stash videos. So I think it'll be kind of fun just to see like which items I'm trying to kind of focus on, and hopefully it won't be too repetitive, but if it does get repetitive, we can kind of brainstorm some ideas to freshen it up, I guess, a little bit. But I'm just trying to pull out the products right now that I want to focus on for at least the next week and make some pretty decent progress on, just in terms of like using them, you know, multiple times in the week. And then next week off camera, I'm probably going to do this process again. So when you guys see my next Shop My Stash video, the project pan items might look a little different if I'm pulling them kind of out of my rotation and whatnot. So, but since this is kind of the first time that I've been doing this in a while, I just wanted to kind of explain that, so hopefully that makes sense. So I have a lot of my like eyeshadows and stuff here, but first I grabbed these two guys. So I have my eyeshadow primer. This one's probably just going to live in my Shop My Stash until it's done. And then I have my Wet n Wild On Edge Long Wearing Eyeshadow Pencil. So these are kind of the only two of their type, so they'll just live in here and we won't really talk about them and like rotate them in and out of my Shop My Stashes, just because, you know, I'll just be reaching for them kind of the whole time. Okay, so this is my ColourPop Super Shock in the shade Couche, and I'm gonna definitely bring this in this week because I haven't actually gotten any use out of it yet. So I've been focused a lot on my project or my pan with eyeshadows, so this one hasn't been getting any love yet, so I'm gonna be pulling this in. I'm also gonna be pulling in the Norvina palette. I really have been focusing in on this. I'm not gonna open like any of these. I don't want to give you guys spoilers or anything, but I'm gonna pull this in for now. Charlotte and Bloom palette, I'm going to take this as well. I think the majority of the time these palettes will be living in my Shop My Stash because I'm kind of trying to use them a lot together and all of that. And then I have my Lorac Noir palette. I am going to take that one as well. I'm going to take this one as well too. The Modern Renaissance, I'm going to go ahead and leave this out for the time being. Probably try and focus in on that in the next couple of weeks. But then this is my Z palette that has my singles in it that I'm working on. So I'm definitely taking this. That's just going to live in my everyday kind of makeup drawer area. And then I have the Natasha Denona Green Brown palette that I did roll into my deck of panning project. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one for the week as well because I do want to film a video with this. So next one I have my lip products. So I'm going to be keeping this in the rotation because it's the only lip liner that I have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Bite Beauty. This is one of the Amuse Bouche lippies. This is the shade Gemini 2. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. I'm not gonna take that one for now. I think I do want to focus in on this one, I think, for this week, and then I won't. These are both glosses, so I'm gonna move that one over there. And then I do want to try and get some use out of this one as well this week, so I will be taking these three right here, and we'll leave those two other ones. I have two setting spray type products. I'm just going to go ahead and keep both of them in my Shop My Stash until I've hit my goals on these. I have my bronzers. These two are the same product if you watched my Partners in Cream intro. And then I also have these bronzers. So I am definitely taking the cream product because I can use it with either of the powders. For this week, I am going to focus in on my Makeup Forever bronzer. This is kind of a miscellaneous pile right here. So I have the only foundation that I'm currently working on, which is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I am obviously going to be rolling that into my Shop My Stash. I have this guy from Becca. This is the Under Eye Brightening Corrector, and I am going to be taking this one as well because, again, it's kind of the only type of product like this that I have in my projects right now. And then I have three primers right here. I have been focusing in on this one right here. This is the Urban Decay Optical Illusion primer. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm also, because I can use them together, I'm also going to be taking the LC Pearl Radiance primer. And then I do have my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze, what is this called? Film Star Bronze and Glow, yeah. That's what it's called. So I'm going to be taking this. I haven't really been reaching for it much since I threw it into a project pan, so I am going to take this one for the next week or so. Okay, so next up I have two concealers, and I think I'm just going to take one for this next week to focus on, and I think I'm going to be taking the Nabla Close Up concealer. And then I have three blushes. Two of them are cream blushes, and one is just my Milani blush. So I will be taking the powder one since it's the only powder. And then I think, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and for this week I am going to be taking the Tower 28 Magic Hour blush for this next week. My last little set of products are highlighters. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the Mary Luminizer out just because I did take the Charlotte Tilbury Duo, and those highlighters are kind of similar, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this one out for now. And then I am going to be taking this one and working on this because I'm so close to finishing it, so I do want to make sure that I can focus in on it for probably even the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to take this one, and I am going to not focus on this for a little bit, I think, until I have that one done. I have this Becca Ignite Liquefied Light Highlighter, and I am going to actually probably, I don't know, I might try this on the face, so I am going to put it in my everyday makeup drawers, but I think if I don't really like it that way, I'm going to move this up to my bathroom and just kind of mix it in with lotion and see how I like it as that. I have the Artist Couture Cocoa Bling highlighter that I was just talking about. I'm really enjoying this actually. I've used it a couple of times and just really enjoying it. So I'm gonna go ahead and focus on this one for a little bit. So I'm not pulling any more concealer, but I do want to pull another powder, a loose powder, loose translucent powder to work on just while I try some other things out. So obviously I pulled that already. So I'm going to pull this guy. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Powder Under Eye and Face. It has a super long name, so I'm not going to say the full thing, but I know I've used it because it's open, but I don't really remember what I think about this powder. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy, and I'm not pulling anything else from this drawer. So this is my blush drawer. If you've seen it before, you already know it's a gigantic mess. I just wanted to pull out a couple of products just in case I'm not really feeling, the colors that are in my projects right now. The two that I have, and I actually also kept in another blush that's more of a mauve tone. I think I'm looking for something maybe more peachy. Maybe this guy. I actually do want to reach for this. I don't think I've really used this all that much. This is from Note. It is It's one of their Luminous Silk Compact Blushers in the shade Desert Rose. I have my bronzer drawer here, and I want to just pull another powder bronzer to switch between. I think I want a matte bronzer. This guy by Galactic. This is in the shade Cabo, and I'm thinking I might take this. I'm gonna take this Buxom Staycation Vibes Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Backyard Bronze. It has a little bit of sheen to it. Like, this is new to my collection and I haven't reached for it yet. So I'm going to take this. I also want to take the Dior Backstage Contour palette because I haven't really been contouring much lately, and this is like newer to my collection as well. And so I want to make sure I get some use out of these. Okay, so that's actually it for my Shop My Stash. I really didn't need to pull a whole lot just because of my Project Pan items. I do need to kind of figure out a good way to balance between my Shop My Stash and my Project Pan, but hopefully this works out well. So I don't have any other items. I didn't really feel like I needed any more lip products, any more foundations or concealers or primers, or no more eyeshadows, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my Shop My Stash, even if it was a bit shorter this time, and I obviously didn't pull that many products, so I didn't shop my stash all that much, so I hope you don't mind. These are all the products that I pulled. I'm gonna go ahead and arrange them now, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and then also if you are enjoying my content and you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to also leave me a comment down below. I love to chat with you guys in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're staying safe, healthy, you know, hydrated, all of that, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!